After that, 2-0 as well. I just want to start this one off by saying, second game, of course, you went ham on already, but the first game you were just saying to me you didn't feel so good, so tell me more about that.
I think first game, I wasn't too confident in the matchup. I haven't played it too much, so I feel like I tried to test my limits a bit too much maybe. So it kind of backfired, but I always knew Trundle would outscale Olaf, and we kind of as a team would outscale as well because our picks. So we just played the game calm, and even though I tried to like make one all-in that didn't go as well, we still felt like we had the game. So.
Still had the game, and how are you actually feeling about the top lane meta? Because we're seeing more carries, of course, come in now that the tanks have kind of gone away for the most part.
I think the top lane meta is pretty fun right now. You can play like a bunch of weird stuff you haven't been able to play before. I think especially like moving away from the Maokai and like all the tanks is pretty fun. So like I'm pretty confident on playing a carry role as well and a tank role. I feel like it's a fun meta and there's a lot of champs I can play.
Yeah, you can definitely make more happen from the top lane. I kind of want to take a step back and kind of look at the split in general. You were just talking about it before we went live and how you're feeling about the team. So how are you feeling about Splyce so far in the split?
I think Splyce, like we have went tie a bit too much here recently against teams that we felt like we should have beaten. But I think like compared to last split, of course you can't complain. I think right now we are just looking for playoffs and like we are looking pretty strong. I think we can play a bit more convincingly, and some weeks we have pretty bad games, but it happens to every team, so it's just about bouncing back, and I feel like we've done that today.
Yeah, for sure, and that's actually a very interesting point you bring up about everyone kind of going 1-1. Seems like everyone's beating each other in Europe right now. So what do you think that teams have to do, or maybe specifically Splyce, to start getting those 2-0s like today?
I think every team just has to practice. Like right now, people are pretty inconsistent. Some teams show up, like Unicorns of Love, they've really shown up here recently. And some teams just play like the middle of the pack. Some games they win, some games they lose.
Yeah.
So I think you just need to practice and like focus on the flaws of each team. And then when it comes to playoffs, every team should be fine. And it should be looking a bit more competitive.
And just a final question here, Wonder. I was kind of interested in how preparation goes, because now we're, of course, halfway through the split. So do you look at like the game you played last time maybe against Vitality, or does preparation kind of see how Vitality doing more recently against other teams?
Yeah, I don't think, I mean, we played Vitality week 1, and of course you can take something from these games, but it was also a bit different meta-wise. And I feel like every team played in week 1 a bit sloppy, and like we just wanted to test a bunch of stuff. Yeah. So you can't take too much from that game. But we have looked at Vitality's recent games and, of course, a bit on these games as well.
Very interesting to hear. Thank you very much, Wonder, for the interview. Congratulations on the 2-0, of course, and we're going to send it back over to the casters to look at player of the game.
Thank you both. Insightful stuff, and, you know, Splyce definitely looking like they're shoring up a lot of those weaknesses. I'm really excited to see how they progress in the next couple of weeks. But let's take a look at our player of the game also. We just saw him on the screen, actually. It was Wonder.
Yeah.
Who really was wrecking through the back lines.
Yeah, and it's one of those situations where there are a lot of people you could give it to. But when you look at a solid performance throughout the entire game, I feel like Wonder did a good job over in the side lanes for the majority of the game. Got himself a good lead to begin with against EpicSkillshot. And yes, okay, Mickey had plays at the end where it's like the bar dot lands, but he got caught out a few times, and it's like, is it player of the game or is it play of the game?
Yeah, at that point, it's definitely hard to tell because there were so many good cleanups for Wonder, but you're right, Mickey definitely did a good job on the back of it, even if he didn't get the player of the game. Now, we're going to go ahead and check in on EU LCS 2 to see what's going on in Game 2 of the OG G2 series, still ongoing.
Best to clear the jungle.